They had a stranglehold on that division, and now they've allowed the Bucks to come back and tie them. Just bad, bad, bad ball. And Kirk Cousins does not look good. I mean, a lot of people are calling for Michael Penix right now.
You're tuned in to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, guiding your gridiron journey, none other than your host, former NFL lineman, Ross Tucker.
Oh, yeah, it is. But it's not just any Ross Tucker Football Podcast. It is a Power Rankings Tuesday, presented, of course, by DraftKings. I'm Ross Tucker, former NFL offensive lineman, 5 teams, 7 years. Most of you know that. Those of you that check us out, youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL or on the DK Network, you can see I am back home, thankfully, for a day till I fly to Detroit tomorrow for Lions-Packers Thursday night for Westwood One. But I am in my house for a day, or at least my detached garage, where I've got my office studio set up here. Feels nice. Feels real nice to be home, see the family, have my regular setup here, be able to dive into the power rankings. And last night's game, that was highly entertaining, and get excited because later in the week, I'm going to be able to do 2 things. One is I'm going to announce more winners. Those of you that spread the word via social media, we're looking, we see it at Ross Tucker Pod, any comment or repost or whatever, or you take advantage of any of our sponsors. We've got a lot of good ones. WestShoreHome.com/Ross. Future fans using the code Ross. The Game Time app is a terrific Christmas gift. If you follow me on social media, you can see I got a code for you, Tucker, over at MacWeldon.com. We got all kinds of stuff going on these days. YouTube shout out. Love doing those videos for you as well. YouTube.com/Ross Tucker NFL. It's Big Show time.
The Big Show.
All right, Ross, we had a pretty exciting Monday Night Football, all things considered. The Broncos, Bo Nix, he had a pretty solid game against Jameis Winston, the Browns, who had a pretty stereotypical Jameis Winston game, 41-32.
So last night's game is proof that we need Jameis Winston to start for a team always, as long as he's alive. In fact, they shouldn't flex late season games. They should flex Jameis Winston in at quarterback to make the game more entertaining and interesting. That was bananas. In fact, you know what's crazy? Thursday, December 19th, I think, Jack, week 16, I was scheduled to do the Browns at the Bengals for Westwood One, but that's the first Thursday night football flex ever. Instead, it'll be Broncos at the Chargers. By the way, much further travel for me, again, but nobody cares about that. But they just flexed Jameis out. They flexed him out. Last night was like the quintessential Jameis Winston experience. It was electric. How about this? For those of you who didn't watch, 34 of 58. Career and franchise record, 497 yards, 4 touchdowns. It was incredible. However, he also did have 3 interceptions, and 2 of them were pick sixes. So he giveth and he taketh away. Nick Bonito had 1, Jaquan McMillan had the other. But man, I mean, it's just fun to watch. It's entertaining. It's a compelling product. The NFL should make a team always have Jameis Winston on their team. Meanwhile, for the other side, Bo Nix, I thought it was a real opportunity for him to take a huge step towards being Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year in the NFL. It really didn't do that for him, right? Like the Commanders had a huge game against the Titans. Jane Daniels played very well, got back on track. That was not the case for Bo Nix. 18 of 35, 294 yards, a touchdown, but he did also throw 2 picks. He didn't really run that much. Ultimately, I don't think people watched that and were like, oh yeah, that's the Offensive Rookie of the Year. I don't think it was a a step in the right direction for him. He was helped a lot in the second half of the game by Jaleel McLaughlin and the ability of the Broncos to run it. They needed to run it. They were able to run it with McLaughlin. How about the Jerry Jeudy revenge game, though? I mean, by the way, revenge after temptation in the first round, like, don't make me laugh. But 9 catches, 235 yards. I've been saying, I did 2 Browns games this year, Jack, on TV. I've been saying, throw the ball to Jeudy more. You traded for him. He's good. He gets open. Give him the ball. They did. It worked. He had a huge game. Other than that, I guess in terms of big picture, not a great look for Denver's D that Jameis was able to carve them up like that. That surprised me. 552 yards of offense. And if it wasn't for Nick Bonito pressuring Winston the whole game, I don't really know what the Denver defense would have done. Very, very important, by the way, before we get to these rankings, if you know any children in your life between the ages of 3 and, 11, I have by far the best gift you should get them. So think about your nieces, your nephews, obviously your own kids, grandkids, whatever. How about giving them the gift of family time and the gift of a love of the greatest sport of all time for the rest of time, football. And it's only $49.99. It's futurefans.com/Ross. They've got a ridiculous Cyber Monday deal. Hopefully that's still going. 25% off, lowest price of the season, and it will be going back up. So take advantage of it. Futurefans.com/Ross. These guys are awesome. They're listeners of the show. They're lovers of football, and they've come up with the best gift for kids I've ever seen. Futurefans.com/Ross. Absolutely love the holiday season because it's a great time to get together with family and friends. Smirnoff is the world's #1 vodka, an official vodka partner of the NFL. This year, there's more opportunities to watch football and make delicious Smirnoff cocktails than ever before. We just had Thanksgiving and Black Friday. Now we'll have the Saturday games, the Christmas games, obviously Sundays. This holiday season, when you're enjoying the game and your cocktails, please make sure to drink responsibly. Take a minute, make a plan, never drive impaired. Smirnoff, we do game days. Please drink responsibly. Smirnoff number 21 vodka, distilled from grain, 40% alcohol by volume. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. Please do not share with anyone under legal drinking age.
It's time for the all-important Power Rankings. The worst team in the history of the NFL is...
All right, Ross, we're going to start our power rankings. 32nd, a stunner, New York Giants.
Yeah, not a stunner at all. I know you're being facetious. Real word, look it up. And it just keeps getting worse for them because they put D lineman Dexter Lawrence and rookie tight end Theo Johnson both go on IR, season-ending IR, by the way. So the hit's just coming for what's been an incredibly disappointing season for the Giants. I know they don't want to look like the Jets. I know they want to show patience, but it feels like the team has to cooperate, right? Like the team has to show some reason to bring these guys back, and they're just not. They just don't, and they're not.
31st, Jacksonville Jaguars.
So we're all waiting kind of the suspension for Azeez Al-Shire, the Texans linebacker, which we expect to come. I do give him credit for his apology on social media. You know, stuff happens. I did some things in games that probably were a little bit borderline too. Stuff happens when you're out there, but that doesn't mean you're necessarily trying to injure or hurt someone. I do think Rex Ryan made a really interesting point, Jack, when he said he doesn't think quarterbacks should slide like that. Because what's happening is when you slide, the thing that's highest is your head. You're like exposing your head for a guy, if they don't know you're sliding until the end or they come in. Whereas if you just kind of dove down near their feet, you're not going to get hit in the head. It's an interesting, really interesting discussion, actually. I'll give Rex Ryan credit for that one. I don't know that we'll see Trevor Lawrence again. I don't think we should. I think he should get the surgery on his shoulder, left shoulder, and start getting ready for next year.
30th, Las Vegas Raiders.
The Raiders. Man, they've lost some games in ugly fashion this year, and the Chiefs one was like yet another game where it felt like the Raiders could have had it, and that might have been enough to have them win some games down the stretch and maybe get Antonio Pierce to keep the job. I don't know that he will. I don't know that he will keep the job with the way they're headed right now after they had given him a chance as the interim guy.
29th is the New York Jets.
Jets, Jets. Jeff Ulbrich says Aaron Rodgers is their quarterback. They're going out there. They're trying to win games. They have lost a bunch of games that they should have won. They actually could very easily still be in the mix with 5 or 6 wins, but they just have blown so many of those games that there's just no way they should have lost them.
28th is the Tennessee Titans.
Decent step back. I think last week they might have been my West Shore upgrade because they had played well. You know, Will Levis had played well 3 weeks in a row. You know, I thought the Titans were playing better. They had that big win over the Texans. This was obviously a pretty significant step back against the Commanders. They were never in the game. They were never competitive. Very disappointing.
New England Patriots are coming in at 27.
Boy, they were the better team. I said that yesterday. I'll say it again. They were the better team. They should have won the game. That, you know, you're trying to build. I know some fans, because I go on the radio, actually on Tuesdays, on WEI in Boston, every Tuesday at 2:30, and the one host wants them to lose. They get a higher draft choice. I don't really believe in that. Unless you're trying to get the number 1 draft choice to try to get a quarterback, they have their quarterback in Drake May. I actually believe in them, you know, winning and starting to build, stack wins and play better and have momentum going into next year.
26 after last night is the Cleveland Browns.
Not much else to say about the Browns, obviously, other than last night. You know, they're in a weird spot now because Jameis Winston's playing good football, entertaining football, giving them a chance to win. And I guess as long as he's doing that, you want to keep seeing what he can what he has in case you want to bring him back next year. But I also think they should want to kind of see what Dorian Thompson-Robinson brings to the table too at some point.
25th, Dallas Cowboys.
How about them Cowboys? It's back-to-back wins, right? Back-to-back division wins over the Commanders, over the Giants. Give him credit. You know, Mike McCarthy has those guys. They're still playing. They're still trying to win. And they're doing it with Cooper Rush. A couple wins with Cooper Rush. He's not a bad coach.
24th is the Chicago Bears.
The Bears. So Thomas Brown, who did a nice job as the play caller that he got a couple weeks ago, man, he went quick from like quarterback coach to offensive coordinator to head coach. That's about the fastest transition I've ever seen. We'll see if it makes any difference whatsoever. Eberflus was a dead man walking, so the Bears actually did him a major, major favor by firing him. He knew there was no chance he was coming back next year anyway.
After a couple big injuries, the San Francisco 49ers are 23rd.
And it's just getting even worse. I mean, I don't know if you saw yesterday, Jack, Christian McCaffrey, Dr. Chow from sportsinjurycentral.com at ProFootballDoc on social media. They do the best job by far when it comes to injuries. He said after the injury to McCaffrey that he thought it was a PCL, which is like a 6-week injury. So that's not good. By the way, he said something similar about Dallas Goedert. I didn't get a chance to watch the whole clip. The tight end for the Eagles, that would really be a big loss for the Eagles. Really big loss. Goddard is a difference maker as a blocker and as a receiver. But anyway, the Niners, McCaffrey, he's out 6 weeks, and they put Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason got a high ankle sprain, the other running back. So it's Isaac Guerendo time. really, now this is the first time I felt like it's a lost season for the Niners.
22nd, New Orleans Saints.
They're joining the injury brigade themselves. We're at that point in the year, and you'll hear me say this more and more, where guys are going on really season-ending IR. Not everybody, it's still only 4 weeks, but you'll see more and more teams place guys on IR because they want to be able to bring somebody up from the practice squad and, retain that guy's rights. If the guy has an injury that he's going to not be able to come back till the last game or whatever, a lot of the times these teams will just put him on IR. Taysom Hill, I think he's 35 or about to be 35. Doesn't play like it at all. Done for this season with a torn ACL. Really, really feel bad for him. He was having a terrific year. He's had an unbelievable career. You guys know how I feel. Everybody, I guess, knows since I went viral last year. Everybody knows how I feel about Taysom Hill.
21st is the Cincinnati Bengals.
I don't even know what to say about them anymore. They're like the Jameis Winston of teams. Highly entertaining, very competitive games. They just ultimately, unlike Winston, seem like the Bengals almost always come up short.
20th is the Carolina Panthers.
Imagine a month ago having the Panthers ranked ahead of teams like the Niners, Bengals, Bears, Cowboys. Are you kidding me? But they've earned it. I know they lost the last 2 games, but they very easily could have won those last 2 games. The Eagles better come to play Sunday because the Panthers, they're playing with some confidence right now.
As we move towards the next tier of teams, the Indianapolis Colts are 19th.
Hard to overstate the importance of that win for the Colts. They needed that one desperately. It's especially important when you win games when you're not even the better team, right? That at least keeps them in the mix. The problem for them is the Broncos keep winning. And so the Colts really aren't making up any ground, and the Texans won. So the Colts are like that one team, I guess, with the Dolphins that are trying to stay in the mix, but they're still 2 games back of both the Texans and the Broncos division, and for wild card, they just got to keep winning.
18th, Atlanta Falcons.
And falling fast. What is that, 3 straight losses in kind of disgusting fashion? They had a stranglehold on that division, and now they've allowed the Bucks to come back and tie them. The Saints are probably not in it, but just bad ball. And Kirk Cousins does not look good. I mean, a lot of people are calling for Michael Penix right now.
Next up at 17 is the LA Rams.
It's weird because, Jack, you and I were talking before the show. The LA Rams are my West Shore upgrade of the week. My biggest upgrade this week is the LA Rams. Upgrade your bathroom like we did a couple years ago, or entry doors. We just did 3 of them. Not only, by the way, do they look great, they just feel great. Like you can tell they're like nice brand new doors. They just open and close perfectly. You actually don't realize the difference from an old door to a new door until you get a new door. Get free installation plus 18 months, no interest, no payments when you visit westshorehome.com/Ross. westshorehome.com/Ross. At this point, there aren't that many teams making big upgrades. I mean, the top teams are staying at the top. The bad teams are staying at the bottom. So the Rams winning a game against the Saints, I put them above 4 or 5 bad teams that lost. So the Rams are my biggest upgrade this week, but not all that impressive, to be honest with you.
16th at the halfway mark is the Bucks.
And they're right back in this thing, really in large part thanks to the Falcons. I mean, right now, and the Bucks have won 2 in a row. They're getting healthier. Right now, you'd have to say the Bucks are the favorite to win the NFC South.
15th, Miami Dolphins.
Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins can't play in the cold. They just can't. And they had a chance to change the narrative. They did the exact opposite. Now there's leaks coming out that they're blaming Mike McDaniel because Mike McDaniel looked cold. Are you guys serious right now? This is the same group, by the way, that Vic Fangio was too mean to them. Vic Fangio was too hard on them, too tough on them. Wow.
14th, Houston Texans.
Texans have a bye. This is the last week of byes, actually. There are several teams that have byes this week, including the Texans. Boy, it was huge for them to get that win going into the bye. Give them a little bit of breathing room. They still have 2 games up on the Colts, and now they can get their eyes. They played in the Hall of Fame game. That's a long stretch for those dudes.
13th, Arizona Cardinals.
You know, they're on a bad run here now. They were sitting pretty in the NFC West. Now they've lost 2 in a row. One was head-to-head to Seattle, which is a killer. But then the Vikings game, they were absolutely the better team. They should have won the game. But there are certain teams, like this year, the Vikings and others, that find a way to win those games. Chiefs, Lions, Eagles, Bills, Steelers. And then there's other teams that just don't.
12th, Seattle Seahawks.
I think I might have thought, nah. I certainly thought the Seahawks would be 3rd or 4th. I might have had Seahawks dead last in division coming into the year. I can't remember. We have to go back to the shows before the season started. But I was not expecting a lot from the Seahawks this year. And now they got a great chance to win the division. They're only up a game, but they just beat the Cardinals in that head-to-head. I don't know if those teams played against each other again or not.
11th is the Washington Commanders.
That was a big win. Moved them up 2 more spots. They were reeling. They had lost 3 in a row. Now it's like, okay, they got to win going into their bye. They're 8-5. They're in very solid playoff positioning right now. Very solid. And so that was much needed. Because it wasn't just a win. They put a bunch of points up and looked good.
10th after last night is the Denver Broncos.
So the Broncos, they just keep winning. I mean, can you imagine if I can't believe how many teams find a way to blow those games against the Chiefs, like the Broncos did with the blocked field goal. But they've still won 3 in a row. That would be a lot in a row they would have won if that hadn't happened against the Chiefs.
9th is the LA Chargers.
San Diego Superchargers. San Diego Chargers. Go. Chargers. Go. So, Chargers, that was a gutsy win. Monday night loss, horrible. You got to come all the way to the East Coast. 10 o'clock body clock game. You get outplayed, but you make the plays on the defensive side of the ball. And Ladd McConkey, who might be banged up, by the way, Ladd McConkey makes enough plays for you to get the win.
8th is the Baltimore Ravens.
They're tough to figure. I mean, they're 8-5. They're probably not going to win that division. They're going into their bye this week, but they're going to have a long road to go in the playoffs. They are good enough to do it in the playoffs, but I don't picture them winning 3 road playoff games in a row. Are they capable? Yeah, but that's just a tough road to hoe.
7th, Green Bay Packers.
Packers are playing really well right now. You know, there was a point in a stretch where I felt like they weren't. You know, they were 6-3, but I didn't think they were that great. Well, now they've won 3 in a row. They're 9-3, and they're setting up. Jack, this has got to be one of the best Thursday night games we've ever had. And I'll be on the call with Ian Eagle Thursday night on the radio. Check it out if you're driving around. Or, by the way, you can stream every Westwood One game now. You can listen to us if you don't want to listen to the Amazon broadcast. I am so fired up. I mean, a huge game for both those teams.
6th is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I said it yesterday. I'll say it again. If Russell Wilson can play like that consistently, they are a legitimate threat. Although I'm a little bit surprised their defense played as poorly as it did against the Bengals. That was not good.
5th is the Minnesota Vikings.
The Minnesota Vikings. So kudos to the Vikings. They have an unbelievable ability this year to win a lot of those close games that they shouldn't. I mean, Jack, They're 10-2. They've won 5 in a row, 10-2. But that division, that's as good of a division. I can't ever remember this late in the season having an 11-1, 10-2, and 9-3 team all in the same division. That's nuts.
Fourth, Kansas City Chiefs.
I don't know what to do with them. They don't look that good. They're not playing that well. They have the best record in football. They're 11-1. They're the Chiefs. They've won back-to-back Super Bowls. But I do think it's very critical they get that number one. The way they've played this year, I don't think they want to be playing 3 playoff games, including having to go to Buffalo in an AFC Championship game. I know they did it last year, but they don't want that again.
Third, speaking of which, Buffalo Bills.
So I guess I feel like the 3 best teams right now, obviously I do power rankings and I'm ranking it based on what I think the best teams are, but I feel like these 3 teams are clearly the best 3 right now. And it starts with the Bills in the AFC. I mean, they've won 7 in a row. Most of them have not been competitive. I mean, they have not been competitive. That's how good the Bills have been in these games.
Second is the Eagles.
E-A-G-L-E-S. Eagles. So I don't know, Jack. I don't feel like their win against the Ravens was as impressive as everybody else is saying it is. I mean, they won the game, and it was a good win. But as we talked about in the Even Money Betting podcast, that was a bad spot, really bad spot for the Ravens after the Monday night short week Hard Bowl. And if Justin Tucker just makes his kicks, kind of changes the complexion of that game a little bit. But they didn't, so kudos to them.
And number 1 is the Detroit Lions.
This is on the line Thursday night. Forget number 1 seed. Forget NFC North supremacy. First place in the all-important Ross Tucker Football Podcast Power Rankings on the line Thursday night. I will be there to witness it. Absolutely cannot wait. Even money today, we were both up double digits. If you're not listening or watching, you're doing it wrong. By the way, we're going to put that feed here on the RTFP for you guys. I think we're done here.
Thanks for tuning in to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Make sure to also check out Even Money, Fantasy Feast, and College Draft, all on the DraftKings Network, YouTube, or subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform.
Shout out myfrontpagestory.com. Cannot highly recommend this as a holiday gift or any gift for a loved one. Please just go to the website and check it out and strongly consider it. I'd be shocked if your loved one didn't say that it was one of the best gifts they've ever gotten. myfrontpagestory.com, backofficescheduler.com, humanheadnyc.com, Sporticulture, Pizza Boy Brewing.